In Washington, D.C., the ongoing government shutdown has taken an unprecedented and startling turn. The Trump administration has begun mass permanent layoffs of federal workers, and sources say one of the first and hardest-hit targets is the small but crucial office that oversees special education for the entire country. This move has effectively decimated the staff responsible for ensuring services for millions of American children with disabilities, leaving their future support in question. To understand what's happening, we first need to look at the government shutdown that began on October 1, 2025. When Congress and the White House failed to agree on a funding plan, the federal government essentially closes its doors to non-essential work. Typically, this means workers are put on furlough. Think of it as a temporary unpaid leave. Employees are sent home, but they are still government employees and usually receive back pay once the shutdown ends. This time is different. On Friday, October 10th, the White House announced it was initiating a reduction in force, or RIF. An RIF is not a temporary furlough. It is a permanent layoff. It's a move rarely, if ever, seen during a shutdown. The White House had directed agencies to prepare these RIF plans, with President Trump calling the shutdown an opportunity to advance his long-stated goal of shrinking the federal government. The Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vought, a key architect of the policy plan known as Project 2025, confirmed the move on social media, stating simply, "The RIFs have begun." Initial court filings revealed that at least 4,100 federal employees across 7 agencies received layoff notices. One of the most severely impacted agencies is the U.S. Department of Education. It lost 466 employees, which is over 20% of its remaining staff, a staff already cut by nearly half in previous layoffs. Within that department, sources say one office has effectively been wiped out. The Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, known as OSERS. According to the union representing agency employees, nearly every single staff member below the leadership level in that office was fired. This isn't just an obscure government bureau. OSERS is the nerve center for federal support for people with disabilities of all ages.
Its primary and most critical function is administering the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA. First passed in 1975, IDEA is the landmark federal law that guarantees a free, appropriate public education for all children with disabilities. It ensures that students get the support they need, from individualized learning plans to classroom aids. To make this happen, the federal government provides about $15 billion a year to states and school districts. The staff at OSERS are the people who manage that money. They provide guidance to states, conduct oversight to ensure schools are complying with the law, and serve as the ultimate backstop for the civil rights of over 7 million students. With those employees now gone, a senior education department staffer expressed deep uncertainty about how these vital programs can even continue to function. Disability advocates have stated they are extremely concerned about the immediate impact on services. So, why is this happening? The administration states it is using the layoffs as a tool to pressure Democrats to end the shutdown on its terms. The shutdown itself is rooted in a political deadlock over issues like funding for Affordable Care Act subsidies. President Trump has explicitly said the layoffs would be Democrat-oriented, blaming the opposing party for the stalemate. This action is also consistent with the goals of Project 2025, a detailed policy blueprint developed by the Heritage Foundation and other conservative groups. OMB Director Russell Vought was a key author of the plan, which calls for dismantling or restructuring federal agencies, including the Department of Education, and replacing career civil servants with political loyalists to consolidate power within the White House. The move has been met with fierce opposition. Federal employee unions have filed a lawsuit to block the firings, calling them an illegal abuse of power and disgraceful. Democratic leaders have labeled the action as deliberate chaos, arguing the administration is choosing to inflict pain rather than being forced into it. The firings have also drawn criticism from some Republicans. Senator Susan Collins, for example, warned that arbitrary layoffs result in a lack of sufficient personnel needed to conduct the mission of the agency. The consequences could be immediate and far-reaching.
With the staff who administer IDEA funding now gone, there are serious questions about how $15 billion in aid will be managed and distributed. Federal oversight, which former officials have called a critical layer for protecting students' rights, is now severely crippled. The impact extends beyond special education. The Office for Civil Rights, which investigates discrimination complaints, and the Office of Elementary and Secondary Education, which oversees grants for low-income schools, have also seen mass layoffs, further incapacitating a department already stretched thin. As the political battle continues in Washington, an unprecedented action has created deep instability at the heart of the nation's education system. For now, the federal government's ability to support its most vulnerable students hangs in the balance, leaving millions of families and educators across the country in a state of profound uncertainty.